Before I do the pre-match review, a quick PGMOL petition update. We're now at 1,213 signatures, a long way from the goal, but it keeps moving up in numbers hour by hour. But we do need tens of thousands more. So please, if you want to see the PGMOL investigated, just click on the link below. It's in the description and in the comments, and add your name. It's completely free. You don't have to donate anything. All you have to do is show your support, and I'm really counting on you. Anyway, right, on to the video. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest, 8th versus 19th. Who could possibly have predicted that these two teams would be in those two positions 11 games into the season? Forest, of course, won this fixture at Anfield last season, a rare blemish, it has to be said, in our home form and our only home defeat of all of last season. And we didn't realise at the time how good Forest were going to be last season, did we? But what Forest fans didn't realise is that their excellent manager, Nuno, would be sacked and replaced by, with all people, Ange, and that he'd be sacked without winning a game, and he'd end up with Sean Dyche. Ange Postecoglou goes down in history with a 0% win rate as Forest manager. But having Sean Dyche instead of Ange is what I think Liverpool need to be concerned about, because stats have shown that we don't do well against teams who use the long ball tactics. And our own manager even admitted that that's the way you get at us. And guess what we're going to get from a Sean Dyche team? Yep, a blanket defence and hit with long balls, throw-ins and set pieces. It's guaranteed. Now, Forest hadn't won in the league since the opening game of the season, until they actually beat Leeds 3-1 in their last Premier League game, which was Sean Dyche's first league win anyway, as the Forest manager. Very interesting couple of stats here about their last two games. Against Leeds, Forest put in 26 crosses in that game, exactly double the Leeds number of 13. In their prior game, they also had a good result. They drew 2-2 with Man United, and in that game, they put in 25 crosses to Man United's 13. So almost identical stats, but it just shows you that's what we're going to be hit with. 26 and 25 crosses in their last two games. And yet in both games, which ended up as a win and a draw, they had less possession in both of those games, and yet they scored 5 times across those two games. So whatever Dyche is doing, he's doing it effectively. Morgan Gibbs-White, who looked completely lost under Ange Postecoglou's free-flowing, kamikaze, losing football style, is back on the goal trail, and he scored 3 in 3 games under Dyche. So I think it's safe to say we know what's coming, and surely Arne Slot will have the lads prepared for it. Now, on the flip side, they haven't kept a Premier League clean sheet all season, and they've failed to score in 6 of their 11 league games so far. In contrast, it's been a very, very long time since we failed to find the net at Anfield. In fact, it was 14 months ago when we last failed to score against Nottingham Forest. So we have to go into this game confident we'll score, and apparently we have a full quota of attackers to choose from. I'm not sure yet, but I think we have a clean bill of health for the attackers. So hopefully we can use these brilliant assets we've got up front to cause Forest all sorts of problems, whether they use a blanket defence or not. We cannot, and Arne, I'm talking to you here, mate. I know you're not going to listen, but I'm still going to say it. We cannot continue to start games cautiously, slowly, knocking the ball around in our own half with slow build-up. It doesn't work. It's not going to work, and it poses little threat to the opposition. And they've worked it out anyway. They've now figured out that if Liverpool use this slow building style, they simply get back into shape, block all the passing lanes, and as soon as we get into their half, they pounce on any mistake and they attack us with pace. And it's happened time and time again, and that has to change, otherwise it's going to keep happening. Forest are not going to come to try and outplay us. It doesn't take Nostradamus to know that. They're going to sit in and hit us on the break. So we've got to be quick and clever and incisive in our approach play. We've got to pull them all over the pitch. We've got to make them uncomfortable. We've got to pull them out of position. We have to confuse them with runners coming from all angles and all positions and at pace. You know, how we've successfully done it for about the last 7 or 8 years. And we showed really good signs of that against Aston Villa, and even more so against Real Madrid. And Real Madrid couldn't cope with it. And this was Real Madrid, not a team languishing in 19th place in the Premier League. And just as importantly, and it really is just as important, we've got to show fight, heart and desire, because it's been missing too often in too many games recently. Unbelievably, in our last league game against Man City, they outran us by 9 kilometres or 5.6 miles. 10 players outrun us by almost 6 miles over the course of a game. That can't continue. And we were also outran in games against Villa, Brentford, Man United and Crystal Palace. That's not the Liverpool way. We can't be outfought and we can't be outrun. I'll say it again, I think it's becoming my catchphrase. Quality without industry wins you nothing. The best teams, the winning teams, always combine quality with industry, bar none. It's a prerequisite to put on that Liverpool shirt, is that you're going to fight for that shirt. And that has to be reinstilled into the players, and that's got to change massively for all the fixtures going forward from here. That means outrunning the opposition, outfighting the opposition, winning your duels, winning your 50-50s and all your tackles against your opposite number. Right, let's move on to form and results. Forest, in terms of away games this season, are 18th in the table. Played 5 away games in the league, won none, drew 2, lost 3. They've scored only 2 goals away from home in the league this season and conceded 9 for a -7 goal difference. They've got 2 points from 5 away games. Now, Liverpool's home form is currently 8th, but as bad as that sounds, it's actually played 5, won 4, lost 1. We've scored 10, conceded 5 for a +5 goal difference. And 4 of the teams above us have played 1 more home game than we have. In fact, our Premier League home form since the start of last season in the league is played 24, won 18, drew 4, lost 2, scored 52 and conceded 21. Our own form from the beginning of last season up until now remains the best in the Premier League. We've got 58 points from those 24 games. That's 1 point better than Man City, who've actually played 1 home game more than we have. It's 6 points better than Arsenal at home, and they've played the same number of home games as we have. And I'm pointing this out because although we've lost 1 home game in the league this season, we've also beaten Arsenal, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bournemouth, Everton and Aston Villa. Some really big wins there in tough games. Our only other home defeat this season was when we played the kids against Crystal Palace. So when we've played our first team in home games this season, we've played 8, won 7 and lost 1. Most of our horrendous results in this horrible run that we've had have come away from home. There've been away games against Palace, Galatasaray, Chelsea, Brentford and Man City. 5 of our last 6 defeats have come away from home. Now, this is not an excuse I'm going to make now, but bear with me. Apart from, forget that Crystal Palace game because we played the kids, but in our other games, our last 9 games in the Premier League and Champions League, we've played 3 at home and 6 away. So what that means is that we've actually got a decent run of fixtures coming up. 3 of our next 4 are at Anfield. Forest, PSV and Sunderland, with 1 away fixture at West Ham in the middle. So with home advantage, this is a real chance to get our season back on track, to get a few much needed wins and get our confidence back again. Now I know you're supposed to take one game at a time, but I'm not a manager, so don't have to. It's worth noting that before we face Arsenal away on January the 8th, we've got 9 Premier League games, and they are against Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, Wolves, Leeds again, and Fulham. They are 9 fixtures that you couldn't really hand-pick as a better set of fixtures to get yourself back on track. But it needs to start on Saturday by winning the Liverpool way, with flair, creativity, speed and attacking intent, and fight, heart and desire. Now, there are Liverpool fans out there, and they're not just a vocal minority anymore, who think that this kind of aggressive, fast attacking football won't happen under Arne Slot. That the football philosophy as was shaped in his homeland and it's going to remain that way, it won't change. Personally, I think it can and it will, because we saw it. We saw it to some extent against Villa, and we saw it even more so in the excellent performance against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid couldn't cope with it. And that has to be the blueprint of the season going forward in every game from now on. Do that and we could be firmly back on track. So yeah, we are currently 8th in the table, but we're only 4 points out of second place and only 2 points out of third place. So with virtually a full squad, this is a fantastic chance to get back on track and start moving slowly but surely towards the top spots. So go and do it, lads. Don't let yourselves down on Saturday. Let's fight for and achieve a much needed win. Anfield will, as always, be right behind you. So make sure to put the passion in your own personal game that at least matches the passion of those in the stands. Do that and we'll be all right. You'll never walk alone. See you after the game. Cheers. Ta-ra.